Welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to be looking at how to create cool background using picture fill in PowerPoint. So let's get to this. Okay, the first thing I need to do now is to clear the screen so that I can design from a clean slate. Okay, so I need to clear this text box. So to do that, go to Layouts, click on it, and click on Blank. Okay, great. The second thing we need to do is to right click on an empty area. So since this canvas is empty right now, I can right click on an empty area and then click on Format Background. Okay, so Format Background is showing up. Great. So first I need to go to Picture or Texture Fill. So because I want to add a picture to this background so that we can have a picture on the background. Okay. So click on picture. Now as we click on that, it's showing the texture fill. So the texture fill is from here. That's actually a predefined texture from PowerPoint. So if you click on this guy, you'll see all the texture showing up. But that is not what we want to use. We want to use our own picture. So you go to this picture source and click on insert. And through this, what is showing right now, the box, we want to insert our picture from the computer. So click on from a file. Then you need to browse to the location where your picture is. If your picture is on desktop, just go to desktop and click on it. If your picture is on download, click on download and browse to the exact location. So my own picture is here. So all I need to do, click on it one time first and click on insert. Or another way to do this, to open it directly in your PowerPoint, is to double click on the picture directly and it will open it in the PowerPoint as the slide background. So as we have selected this, we click on insert and we have our background right now. Amazing. Great job. Okay, so let's close the format background for now. Okay, the next thing we want to do now is we want to draw a rectangle shape that covers the canvas. Okay, so to do that, we have to locate our shape. We can get the shape from the home or insert tab. From the home tab, we have shapes here under the drawing group. So click on rectangle, select it. So then click here. So you're clicking on the top left. You're left clicking and dragging to bottom right. Okay, good job. So make sure it's covering the whole canvas. When you're okay, let go of the left click. And you can see now the shape is covering everything. We no longer see our picture, but our picture is still there. Okay, so what we want to do now is to go to the format shape panel, which will show up on the right side here. So to do that, while on the shape tab, because shape tab shows up when this shape is selected. If I click outside, shape format will go away. When I click it back, shape format will come up. So while in the shape format, you can click on this little guy. Or another way to do it, if you're in the home tab, let's say you're in the home tab, you can also see the little guy here called format shape. When you click on that guy, it's going to open the format shape panel on the right side. Okay, so we want this shape to have a gradient fill. So gradient fill simply means that we want to apply more than one color to this shape. So to do that, look for the guy called gradient fill and click on it. Click on gradient fill. As you can see, when we apply the gradient fill, it's showing different stops here. Okay, so these color points now, they are called gradient stops. This one, so we have 4 of these here, 4 of it. So we need to delete it so that we have like only 2. So we need to delete this one. Anyone you want to delete, click on it to select it and press remove gradient stop. Okay, so we won't dive deep into the gradient stop. There's a lesson on gradient, which if you check that, we've dealt so much about gradient fill on that format background. So if you go through that, you will understand everything under gradient. Okay, So but for now, okay, so this one, let's delete this one to select it and click on remove gradient stop. Okay, so we only have two stop now. One is at 0% position, another one is at 100% position, as you can tell from here. So let's select the one on 100% position. Okay, then click on this color bucket icon, then select yellow. Okay, so just showing this to demonstrate. Then click on the one on 0%. We want to choose a red color. Click on the color bucket. Let's choose a red color. Okay, so we have this right now. Okay, so another thing we can do, we can change the direction. It's currently on 90%. We can decide to click on this. We can decide to change it to this, or change it to this or this, depending on the cone effect we're trying to create. So let's just do linear right first. We can still change it later. So now after you have done this, you notice that our picture is still not showing up. The picture background we did is still not showing up. This shape is covering it. If we want the shape to actually show up, what we need to do is to fade any of this color, either the red or the yellow, or it could be the two. We just fade it slightly so that this color can actually show through, that what we have at the background can show through it. So if we need to do that, let's try that on the red gradient stop. So while the gradient stop at 0% position is selected, just drag this transparency. It's currently on 0%. That means no fading yet. So if I left click and drag this guy, now you can see that the image below, which is the background, is actually showing through. If I drag again, you can see. Now you can see that it's showing through. That's cool. So let's say we want to create something like this, and we want to write a nice text on it. It will make more sense. Okay, great. So another thing is, click on the yellow now. Click on the yellow. We want to fade the yellow a little bit too. So drag this slider, left click and drag it slightly. Can you see that? Cool effect. Okay, how about we add another color at the middle like this? Okay, so if you need to add another gradient stop, which will create a new color, just click inside of this gradient stop box, click on it, and that color is added. So another color that is added right now is currently on transparency 0. Okay, so we can drag it slightly, but first let's change that color. Let's change it. Okay, click on this color bucket. Let's change it to this light blue. Let's see if, okay, so that's light blue. And then let's drag the transparency now. Okay, can you see the color effects that we're creating? That's amazing. Okay, so if you like what you have designed so far, let's go forward to add some text to it. So let's go to this button here so that we can close the format shape panel. Click on it, okay, and then click outside. Now if we need to draw our text box right now, so what we need to do is to left click to select the text box from the shapes. So if I left click on this guy now if I want to type now, if I left click here, you know we have drawn a rectangle shape here before. So if I left click and drag, so my shape, I can type, I can type my text here. So I just left click and drag this. In case you want to know how to use the text box professionally, knowing everything about text box, there is also a lesson on that, working with text box. So you learn a whole lot there. So try and check that lesson out too. Okay, now so let's just write something here. Okay, let's write Alpine. Okay, so that's just like the name here. So just to create something nice. Now after typing, you can see this is black color. This black color is not good for what we have here. So, and this cursor line is blinking inside. So what we can do first is to select the text box. So to select this text box where we type the text, press escape on your keyboard. That way the escape is only one time. Press it one time. If you press it two times, it's going to deselect this shape. So if I press second time now, it deselect it. If you want to select it again, just hover your mouse on the text box exactly like this. Okay, so sometimes if you don't get the exact position, you could be selecting something else. So if you have selected the text box, then go to the font color, click here, then let's select white. Okay, so now let me drag this guy away. So reduce this size, hover your mouse on this white dot on the side, left click and drag it to this side a little bit. The reason why I'm doing that, so that if I toggle open the font types, so I can see this on the fly as I'm moving my mouse on the font. Okay, click here. Then as I move my mouse on the font, you can see that it's showing a preview on the fly. Okay, you can see that. So you can use your scroll wheel to scroll down. You can see that. Okay, so I'm going to make things easy. So let me go back up. If you have area black, click on area black, or if you have a nice font which you want to use, you can do that. So let me use area black. Okay, another thing I can do, I can increase the font size. So go to font size here, or you can use this increase font size to grow it like this. You can simply click on this arrow to select the number you want to go to. Okay, you can see that. That's amazing. Okay, so let's increase it further a little bit. Increase this a little bit, like here. Okay, so if you notice that your text flows to the next line, all you can do is to left click to adjust it. Left click here and drag. That way your text will be on one line. Okay, let's say this is your text right now, and you need to move that text to another position. So this is what you do. Left click here, or the edge, just make sure it's the edge. If it shows 4 arrows, you're interested in 4 arrows, not this eye icon. 4 arrows like this. If it shows 4 arrows, left click on it and drag. Can you see that way? Okay, so let's make it around here. Okay, so another thing we could do, we could also make it bigger than this a little bit. So let's resize it a little bit, and let's increase the font size a bit like this. You can see that. Then left click and position properly. After you've positioned it, so now we want to create a little shadow so that this text can have a little shadow. So for this text to have a little shadow, you have to come to this guy here called text shadow. Click on the guy. Do you notice a little shadow added to it? Okay, so now if you now want the shadow to be very glaring, so there is something cool that we can do again. Okay, so to do something cool, so what we need to do is to go to the format shape background, so format shape panel. Click on this format shape icon here. Now this is going to show the format shape. Now it's also showing things like shape option and text option. So if you are going to change anything, format anything pertaining to the text box itself, we will use shape option. If we want to change anything pertaining, like we want to format the text that is inside of the text box, we will use text option. So click on text option. Okay, we're going to make things very simple. Okay, so we're not going to complicate the issue. So if I select solid fill, that's a single color, it will change the color that is here. So let me try that. Solid fill, then go to this color bucket. As you can see, if I select this one, can you see it? That's amazing. Or if it is gradient fill, you can see if I select gradient, you can see what it's looking like right now. Okay, because that is actually this gradient is the last thing we'd apply for this our rectangle shape. That is why it's showing like this. So let's select a preset gradient now. Click here and let's try to select this one. So you can see right now the gradient. This is preset gradient that is applied to it. That means a predefined gradient that is applied to this right now. So now what we want to do right now, let's go to this guy here, text effect. That's where we're going. Click on text effect because we want a little shadow to show up more. So click on shadows. Okay, so we have preset shadow, and one of them is the one we applied here earlier. So if I click here, we have different ones. So you can see all these ones. These are outer shadows. If you don't want shadow again, you can click on no shadow. These ones are inner shadow, and these ones are like perspective. Okay, good. So but I don't want to apply any of those precepts now, so I want to just adjust this a little bit. We have the size, we have the transparency, we have the blur. Okay, so let me intentionally drag the size. So increase the arrow, this up arrow. Can you see when I increase it? Can you notice how the shadow is becoming bigger? Now another thing I can do, I can make this transparent. It's currently on 57%. Now if I drag it towards 100%, it's fading out. Can you see that? 100% will remove it completely. So now look at it. Okay, let's say it's on 51 now. Then the blur now is going to actually blur out the shadow. So if I drag this guy, left click and drag it, can you see? It's blowing this out. This could be very good if you need to create like a depth for your test. Okay, so that's amazing. So we don't need to bother about the angle and the distance for now. This is the effect we'll try to work with. So we're good. So click on this close button to close it right now. Now we have our design right here. So let's preview our design. To preview this, you need to go to slideshow tab, click on it. Since we only have a single slide here, we can preview it using from beginning. So but if you have more than one slide and this is not the first slide, it's better you use it from current slide. Okay, so current slide simply means the slide you're working on, that's the only one that you want to preview. Okay, so if that's the case, you click on this guy or use the shortcut Shift F5. So let's go. Now you can see what our design look like. That's amazing. Okay, let's escape out of this. We can also reposition the text. Hover your mouse on the edge of the text box. You can reposition it to another position like this, or even like this, depending on your preference, what you want for your text. That's amazing. Okay, I'm just showing different options. Okay, so we've done a good job on our parts. That's amazing. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is how to actually animate this text so that the text can just come in gradually. Okay, go to the animations tab, click on animation. Okay, so we are going to take things very easy. We're not going to complicate issue. Okay, so let's use the fly in or fade. So I want to use fly in. Click on fly in. Now you can see the text is coming in. As we apply this flying animation, it shows 1 here. So if we have another shape and we click on it again, it's going to apply another animation and it could call it 2. Okay, great. The next thing we want to do is actually coming from the bottom. We want to change that direction. So you go to effects option to change the direction. Okay, so you can see if I need it to come from the left, I can click on from left. You see that? If I need it to come from bottom right, you can see that. Okay, so great. So bottom right is okay. So the next one I want to show you is coming in as an object. So I want it to come up character by character. Okay, so to do that, click on this little icon here called show additional effects option. Click on it. Okay, great. So it's currently covering this. I can drag it away. So left click here, left click down and drag away like this. Okay, the first thing I want to do, I want this animation to come in smoothly. So use this smooth start, drag it to half. Okay, half should be 0.25. Then I want the animation to also end smoothly, so I drag it also to half. Okay, so you can see when I drag past it, this is adjusting itself, but I want it to be on 0.25, 0.25. So both should be on 0.5, 0.25. Okay, so that's a good one. So now animate test all at once, because all these words is actually like a single word. It's coming in at once. But when I change it, click on this arrow. Let's change it to by letter. That means A will come in at a time, L, P, I, N, E. That's the way it's going to come in. Then click on OK. Can you see that? That is cool. Another thing we can do while the animation, this text animation is selected here, as you can see, it's selected here, then we can specify the duration. How long will it play? So it's currently on 0050. So let's increase the time. So the shorter the time, the faster the animation. So if I increase this time to like 0300, that means the animation will take longer to play. Okay, so another thing I want to show you is this on click. So on click will work only when we click on, if we are in slideshow view, the on click says that this animation that we have applied on this text box will only play if we click on a button on the keyboard. It could be a button on, it could be the space bar or the direction key like left arrow and right arrow. It could also be your left click on the mouse. Okay, that could also trigger the movement. Okay, but if we don't press anything, that means this animation will not play. That's the meaning of on click. Then we also have some other ones here. If I click on this guy now, we have with previous and after previous. These two will play the animation automatically. With previous, if you have applied any animation before, it means this animation of this text box will play together with that animation. Then after previous, this simply means that when the previous animation finish, this one will start immediately. That's the meaning. Okay, so let's first of all see the on click. So while the on click is selected, let's use Shift F5 to preview the slide. So it means we are previewing the current slide. Press Shift down and press F5 is the function key on your keyboard. F5, press that, and so you can see now, you can see that the text is not showing up. If you want the text to show up, you have to click on a button. That's the meaning of the on click. So if I click the space bar now, you can see the animation is coming in gradually. You can see that. That's amazing. If you need to go out of the slide right now and go out of this slideshow view, press the escape. Okay, you see that? Great job. Now let's go to after previous. Since we have not applied any animation before, we don't need the with previous, so let's just use after previous. Okay, so this means that this will play automatically. We don't need to press any button on the keyboard. Okay, so let's go back to slideshow view. Press Shift F5. Can you see that it's playing automatically without pressing anything on the mouse? That's amazing. Okay, so press escape to go out of the slideshow view. We've done an amazing job so far. Well done. I believe you enjoy, you like this. Please don't forget to give us some thumbs up. So see you in the next lesson.